Okay, hello friends. This juniper right here, which I've actually made into balls, which I'm sure you've seen it before. I'll show it again to you though, before I do anything, if we decide to do anything today. We did a air layer, and it took root a lot sooner, and I figured that since it did that, it just might have went on and got some more roots, and if so, we can go on and get it in a nice bonsai pot after cutting it, and have it trained for bonsai. So we're going to take a look at the roots right now, because most of the time once you have roots, I mean, they just run, they go. Now, the last time I did this, I had to get more moss because, you know, it was growing bigger and bigger. So we'll be able to reuse this if needed. Okay, you can see right there, there's a root. Now these should, the roots should be about 2 inches before doing this. So let's see what we have here. Be careful not to pull any of the roots, just the moss off. Okay, I see the roots definitely. This is this can definitely be used now, and it's not only because of this. These right here are ready, and most of these are going to be cut off. So we're going to go in and cut this about right here, and then we'll get the bonsai pot ready and get it in there and everything. So that one went a lot faster than I thought, so you can get a good look at the roots. They're really, really nice right there. Right here they're having a little bit of trouble, but once it gets in the pot, I think it'll just go with it. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. We've used loopers to cut here, and on the top, which is down there, you can't see it, it's covered up. We've removed a lot of branches, so it doesn't take too much stress off. We'll be removing some more, but we're going to put it in the pot first. This is the pot, and as you can see, it's got 2 screens that I put in there. They can be plastic or they can be metal. I use metal, and the stick. Now, with this, I'm going to use the wire, and if you haven't seen the video of me doing this before, you'll see what I'm fixing to do. I'll be back in just a minute. Thanks for watching. Okay, now one thing that's different from this one than all the others is we only used one string. See on the bottom, one string. Connected it to these, which will hold this into place. And now we're going to take our rocks and put it down. The rocks are actually going to help with the drainage process. You don't need many, so just a few. Just enough to cover the little first bottom layer. Might need a little bit more than that. There we go. Okay. We'll go in and add these since they're out in their proper place. Okay. Now that we have that, we're going to add some soil. And excuse me, I have a phone call, so I'll get back to this in just a minute. Okay, we're back. And like I said, we're just adding soil right now. Make sure you see the pot good. And we're only doing a very, very thin coat, just to make sure the bottom, the rocks and all that's covered. very, very thin. Okay. Now we want to take our plant that we have soaking in water right here, and hopefully I don't get another phone call, but you never know. Pull this right out. Now, because this has been rooting, it will not hurt that you add more rooting hormone. It will actually help it on its little journey to getting more roots. We're going to place it right in the center here, and now we're going to tie it down with the wire that we have. There's always different ways to do this and wrap it, and it can be aggravating sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes. I'm going to have to add a little bit more wire. It doesn't have enough wire, so get just a little bit more wire here. Cut it off. And, just tie it onto whichever one I want to. Okay, now hold this big boy up. Wrap it around. Nice and good. And then right here, we're going to tighten it down. That's one reason for the stick being there. This right here will keep it from moving around a bunch, which we don't want it to do since it's still trying to grow roots. Now, we're going to clip here. And yes, that's going to happen. It's going to fall until we get the rest of the soil in there and get it wet. Okay, now we add the rest of the soil and fill to the water line. You don't want to go past the water line. You want to use a good combination mixture. Plenty of perlite and vermiculite. Now if you go over just a little bit, that's fine. Okay. Now we have it planted, and the next thing we need to do is add water. And after we add water, so we don't do too much shock to it, we're going to do some more of the cutting, and that should let the small roots there take control. As you can see, when you did that, well, when I did that, there's room to put more soil, so go for it. You want it packed a little tight. Having dry soil on top is fine as long as down at the bottom it's wet. Okay, now we're going to do some work on the inside, just trimming it up and everything, making it look more like a bonsai. And I hope you enjoyed watching this, and we'll be back in a minute with what it looks like after we get done. Okay, now we are still far from done with this tree. It still needs wire and everything. Now junipers do like the sun. I would leave it in the sun only because what we just did is very stressful on it. So it'll go inside in the shade and come back out tomorrow in its pot. Now we put rocks on top here to help, hold it down and everything. And the other pieces that we cut off, we just kind of put them back in the ground. That's all you can really do is hope that they grow. You're supposed to do that in the wintertime, but this didn't happen in the wintertime. What we just did happened in the summertime. So that's basically how you make a bonsai from and air layer, and this one took about, well, it's pre-bonsai right now, but it basically took maybe 5-6 months altogether. So thank you all for watching, YouTubers. I hope you enjoyed.